Everyone in the cafeteria burst out laughing when Ethan Carter dropped his lunch tray. Milk spilled across the floor, food scattered everywhere, and standing right behind him was Jason Miller, the richest kid in school, wearing a smug smile. What nobody knew was that 5 years later, that same rich bully would walk into a job interview and find Ethan sitting on the other side of the table. But before we get there, you need to know how it all started. Ethan was 17 years old and lived with his single mother in a tiny apartment on the edge of town. His mom worked double shifts at a nursing home just to keep the lights on. Money was always tight, but Ethan never complained. He believed education was his way out. Every morning, he arrived at Westbrook High carrying the same worn backpack he'd used for 3 years. His shoes were old. His clothes were simple. And to students like Jason Miller, that made him an easy target. Jason came from money. His father owned several businesses. He drove a luxury car to school and surrounded himself with friends who laughed at everything he said. The bullying started with jokes. Then came the insults. Soon it became something worse. One afternoon during chemistry class, Ethan discovered his science project had been destroyed. Weeks of work were gone. The teacher couldn't prove who did it, but Ethan saw Jason and his friends laughing in the back row. That night, Ethan sat in his room staring at the broken pieces. His mother walked in and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Don't let people decide who you become." Those words stayed with him. But things were about to get much worse. 2 weeks later, someone posted an embarrassing edited video of Ethan online. By morning, the entire school had seen it. Students pointed. They laughed. Even some teachers looked uncomfortable. For the first time, Ethan wondered if he should quit school altogether. Then he received an anonymous message. The message contained only 7 words. "I know who ruined your project." And attached was a photo that changed everything. Ethan stared at the image in disbelief. The photo clearly showed Jason and 2 friends inside the science lab after hours. They were standing beside Ethan's project moments before it was destroyed. His heart raced. Finally, he had proof. But before he could show anyone, another message arrived. "Be careful. Jason's father controls more than you think." At first, Ethan dismissed it as drama. Then something strange happened. When he reported the evidence to school administrators, the photo mysteriously disappeared from the system. The principal claimed there wasn't enough proof. Jason walked through the hallways smiling like nothing had happened. That was the moment Ethan realized the game wasn't fair. But he wasn't going to quit. Instead, he focused on something nobody could take from him: his grades. While Jason spent weekends partying, Ethan studied. While others slept, Ethan worked part-time at a grocery store and completed scholarship applications. Months passed. Graduation arrived. Jason was voted most popular student. Ethan barely received applause when his name was called. But then the scholarship announcements were made. The entire auditorium fell silent. Ethan had earned a full scholarship to one of the country's top universities. For the first time, Jason looked worried. As students celebrated, Jason approached Ethan. "You got lucky." Ethan smiled. "No, I got prepared." Jason laughed and walked away. Neither of them knew that life was quietly setting up a much bigger test. A test that would completely reverse their positions. And it would begin with a secret hidden inside Jason's own family. College changed Ethan's life. The scholarship opened doors he never imagined possible. He studied business and technology, often sleeping only a few hours each night. By graduation, he had developed a software platform that attracted investors. Within 3 years, his company exploded. The kid who once counted every dollar was now leading a fast-growing business worth millions. Meanwhile, Jason's life was moving in the opposite direction. His father's empire began collapsing after several financial investigations uncovered fraudulent activities. Businesses closed. Properties were seized. Friends disappeared. The people who once admired Jason suddenly vanished when the money did. Then came the biggest shock. Jason learned his father had secretly borrowed against nearly everything they owned. The family was drowning in debt. For the first time in his life, Jason faced consequences he couldn't buy his way out of. Desperate for work, he started applying everywhere. Weeks became months. Rejections piled up. Then one company finally invited him for an interview. A fast-growing technology firm known for giving people second chances. Jason arrived wearing his best suit. He walked confidently into the conference room. Then he froze. Sitting at the head of the table was Ethan Carter, the poor student he had spent years humiliating. Jason's face turned pale. Ethan calmly looked through his resume. The room felt painfully silent. Jason expected revenge. He expected humiliation. What happened next surprised everyone. But it also forced Ethan to confront a choice that would define the kind of man he had become. Jason couldn't even make eye contact. Memories flooded back. The cafeteria, the destroyed project, the endless bullying. Everything he had done came rushing back at once. Finally, he spoke. "I deserve whatever you're about to do." Ethan studied him carefully. For a moment, he remembered every painful day, every insult, every night he questioned his worth. Revenge would have been easy. One word and Jason would walk out that door unemployed. But Ethan thought about his mother's advice. Don't let people decide who you become. He took a deep breath. Then he said something Jason never expected. "Tell me why I should hire you." Jason looked stunned. For the next 20 minutes, he spoke honestly for perhaps the first time in his life. He admitted his mistakes. He admitted his arrogance. He admitted he had become the person he once promised himself he would never be. When he finished, the room was silent. Ethan nodded slowly. People can change. A week later, Jason received the job offer. Not because of pity, because he earned it. Over the next year, Jason worked harder than anyone in the company. He stayed late. He learned. He grew. And gradually, he became someone completely different. One evening, after a successful project, Jason approached Ethan. "Why did you give me a chance?" Ethan smiled. "Because proving you wrong felt good, but helping you become better felt even better." Jason lowered his head. For the first time, there were tears in his eyes. The poor student had won long before the money arrived. He won the day he refused to let hatred control his future. And that's the lesson many people never learn. Success isn't about getting revenge on the people who hurt you. It's about becoming so strong, so confident, and so successful that their actions no longer define your story. Because sometimes the greatest victory isn't defeating your enemies. It's refusing to become one.